Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of Fractoid. Today I got some pretty cool stuff to show you, so let's dive right in. The first, we've added biomes and we've added trees and we've added mushrooms and flowers and more. Um, the trees are all procedurally generated. This is kind of a first draft of what they could look like. I definitely want to improve them over time, but I'm fairly happy with it for a first draft. Like I said, we also added things like dandelions and rocks of various shapes. Actually, all these rocks look the same. Here's a few different ones. And sticks. These will be useful for making tools in the future. Mushrooms. And yeah, pretty happy with that stuff. I definitely want to make improvements to it. There's probably too much stuff on the ground right now. Or maybe not. I don't know. Comment, let me know what you think. Another feature that we added was the day-night cycle. Oh, also time. We actually have a date. Today is April 1st, April Fool's Day, the first year, and we have a time. Time moves 60 times faster than it does in the real world, so every minute in this world, every minute, you know what I'm saying. Every second, every second in our world is a minute in this world. We have a ability to pause time if we want to, or continue it. We can shift the sun with the slider. It's the sun. There you are. With the slider, we can shift the sun's position. Beautiful sunrises in this game. We can make it midday. Bring it back to night. Another cool feature is the sun turns into a moon when it's nighttime. And it gets really dark. We go to like midnight, we're completely dark. And that's intentional. I really want the player to have to build some form of lighting before nighttime comes. I also want to add moonlight, so on new moons it's going to be particularly dark. Full moons it will be, pretty visible. But I want to keep that realism factor. Other biomes, let's dart around a little bit. We got an LOD system now, so we can see in like these faraway chunks, they're a little more boxy, a little more square and less detailed. But as we move closer, they will update. You can see this biome, this mountain biome up here is becoming updated. And that's one other thing. This biome system is based on altitude and latitude, or is it longitude? I think it's latitude. Distance from the equator determines the temperatures, and altitude also determines the temperatures. And then there's also a humidity map on top of that. So you can expect snow biomes to be, a little higher in altitude. We might be moving more north, where back there we're closer to the equator. Hard to say for sure from this. And then these mountains are higher up, so they become colder. Getting a little bit of lag as we're loading in new chunks. That is something I'm working on improving. Here's a nice ice biome. That's less of an ice biome, more of a ice mountain, I guess. Probably shouldn't be a bunch of rocks on top of this, but that's alright for now. This is a good example of the LOD system. We can see the trees out here as we move closer. They go from being boxes to being complex boxes, which definitely helps with the rendering, helps with the RAM, and doesn't look too bad. I definitely want to improve it some more over time, but for the current draft, it's not bad. All right, next world. This one's a little snowier and a little flatter because this is a flat world. Um, the foliage, I'm probably going to make it an optional choice when you're creating the world, but this is what a flat world looks like with some foliage and other, oops, hit a lag spike there, other miscellaneous debris. Sun still looks beautiful. And I think this world I actually converted, so we might see some mountains off in the distance, yeah. This one was a flat world, and then I turned it into a standard world, so in the distance we could see some mountains forming. Let's jump to the next one. So I wasn't planning on showing this, but I thought this bugged out world was too interesting not to show. It feels kind of liminal, and I thought this was just neat because the trees. There's a bug where I guess the milli blocks got wiped, um, so we just had these blocky blocks, and just the super flatness of it. It just feels incorrect, and I'd really want to show that. Let's jump to the next one. Okay, I tricked you. Now we're actually in pretty much the same world, but with the actual appropriate milliblock mods. And you can see these trees turned out a lot better, and it still feels a little liminal, I guess, just because the world's very flat and very repetitive. But this is essentially a desert. You can see we got sandstone down here, or well, sandstone sand, which is the sand version of sandstone. And then over here we got some trees. I don't know exactly what kind of biome this is, but it seems to have put trees in it, which is a little odd for what's likely supposed to be a desert. Improvements to be made for sure. But I did want to show just what a biome looks like with sand. And finally, I'd like to take us back to an oldie but a goldie. This is actually the world where I recorded the previous trailer. For those who may not have seen it, this is kind of what you can build in this game. These very high detailed environments. I really like this one. This is probably my favorite build out of the bunch. But we also got this one over here, where you can build really nice looking gems. Metals actually reflect. That probably reflects more than it should. But metals do reflect sunlight and other light sources. This cathedral looks good when you look at it from the lit up side. A whole bunch of different body designs and head designs that I did while I was trying to figure out what the player should look like. Here's what the player looks like today. I should probably put a shirt on. This is actually probably my second favorite build, because it kind of shows off what you can do with the gems a little bit better, and detail work with the stone. Also the brick textures. Well, this is like custom made brick, made out of milli blocks, and you can really do some cool stuff with it. Let's hop over here. Here's a tree that I made. This was not procedural. This is one that I handmade. Might end up doing something like that at some point for the actual game. We'll see. Here's a more modern house if you're looking for something a little more with the times. Variety of brick. This is also custom brick. Custom door. The game will allow you to make custom doors in the future. Still working out that feature. Plants. There will definitely be plants that you can grow. These are just kind of an example of what they'll probably end up looking like. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, this little dining room that I made. This is not real fruit. This is cotton pieces, but there will be real fruit in the game. A nice clock that you can't really see too well. At least I can't. A little dark on my screen. Custom chairs. That's another thing I intend on adding, is custom chairs that you can actually sit in, so you can build your own chair exactly how you want it. A variety of different shapes and actually sit in it. Custom chest. And really nice kind of like wood paneling on the walls here. All custom. Oh, custom image, custom frame. And then this over here is actually what I did to make the icon for the game. I was building it out. Alright, I got one more thing to show you guys, so stay tuned. Okay, now we're looking at my editor right now, where we can see tectonic plates. This is a good representation. Each color represents a different tectonic plate, and then between them we can see the actual borders. So each tectonic plate has its own sort of directional drift, you could say, like real-life tectonic plates. This one, for example, this purple one, is likely drifting this direction into this gray one. The gray one may or may not actually be moving, but due to that collision, we get this enhanced kind of mountain range between it. That's also supported by the fact that we're getting a sort of divergence over here. So this purple one is likely moving that way, away from the pink one. The pink one might be moving this way, might be moving down. It's hard to say for sure. Over here, we can see another collision between this black plate and the purple plate. Over here, this is likely some amount of divergence. Over here, where we have this water, is likely also a lot of divergence between this gray plate and the orange one, allowing for this lake to form. But yeah, this took a while to build out, but I think it'll create a more realistic terrain system with like legitimate mountain ranges versus just like mountain biomes. Alright, so the next question is, what's next? There are many more features to come. I definitely have some optimizations I have in development right now. I also want to add a survival system, also in development. The exact release date is to be determined, but you can wishlist it right now on Steam. The link is in the description. That really helps out, lets me know you guys are really interested. Most likely, the first release will be a creative early access release, and then a survival system release will come a little later down the road. Definitely join the Discord. I'm looking for opinions, I'm looking for feedback, I'm looking for ideas. I love to hear what people think about what's going on and get feedback. I post a lot in the Discord of images of what I'm currently working on, so if you want to stay up to date, definitely join in. Link in the description. And then, I'm really trying to get these videos a little more viral. I'm not really the best at marketing. So, giving this video a like, a comment on what you like or what you didn't like. Share it with your friends. It helps out a lot. And if you're interested in supporting the project before the release, I have a link in the description to Kofi. This will help me commit a little bit more time to the project. No obligation there, though. But if you're interested, feel free. That's about all I got for this episode of Fractoid. I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching this one, and I'll catch you in the next one.